Hello and welcome to our number talk. Today we are looking at the expression 26 plus 29. And what we do in a number talk is we use mental math. That means no paper, no pencil, to try to solve an expression. And then we compare all the different ways we could have figured it out. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and do that. Pause the video, figure out 26 plus 29 in your head, and when you have your answer, let's come back together and look at all of our strategies together. So the first thing we could have tried is near doubles, and this uses the associative property, and this is our grouping property. So this lets us regroup numbers. And if our two addends are kind of close to each other, it's nice to kind of turn them into doubles. And so look what I've got right here. I've got 26, but if I just kind of ignore some of the blocks on the other one, I can turn that also into a 26. So this is what this looks like. 26 plus 29 really turns into I'm going to take that 29, I'm going to break it down into 26 plus, I've got those 3 left over. And so the associative property lets me just kind of regroup them and add up the 26's together, because doubles are usually easy even if you have to regroup. 25 plus 25 is 50, so 26 plus 26 is going to make 52. And I'm just going to add those 3 left over, and that's what the associative property lets me do, is add different numbers first. And so 52 plus 3, hopefully you got the answer of 55. So we also could have made tens. So this uses the associative property again, and what this does is this looks at our first addend, and we look to see how far away is it from the next 10. So it looks like we are 4 away, because we got 26, we need 4 to get up to 30. So I'm just going to take 4 from over here, and I'm going to add them together with that first addend. So 26 plus 29, I'm going to take that 29, I'm going to break it up into a 4, and then whatever's left over, which happens to be 25. So 29 is just 4 plus 25. But I'm going to use that same associative property, and I'm going to add my 26 and 4 first to get a 10, so that's 30. And then if I add up that 25 after that, well, 30 and 25, that's a little bit bigger, but there's no regrouping involved. And that's why we make 10, so we can kind of get rid of that regrouping. So our answer is 55 again. Now, a lot of you might have just done this. You might have just started with place value, and that's always a good strategy here. So let's just break each of these into, think of it like expanded form. We're just going to break them up into tens and ones. So 26 is really 20 plus 6. And then 29 is really 20 plus 9. Now, we have our grouping property up here because we're going to regroup them, but we also need to reorder them. And that's what the commutative property does. That just lets us reorder addends. 5 plus 8 is the same as 8 plus 5. So I'm going to reorder them and regroup them. So I want to do my tens first. That's 20 and 20. So I'm going to bring those two out. Then I'm going to leave what's left over, my ones, 6 and 9. So that gets me 40. And that gets me 15. Add up 40 and 15. Guess what we're getting? 55 again. Another way to do it is to add up in chunks. So we keep our first addend completely together. Then we take the tens place of our second addend. And this also helps get rid of, not all, but a good portion of any regrouping that might need to be done. So 26 plus 29. We're going to keep our 26 together. We're going to break up the 29 into its place value. 20 and 9. We only need the associative property here to regroup these. I'm going to add my 26 and my 20 first. See how I shift the parentheses? So that's 46. Now I do need a little bit of regrouping here, and that's fine. We're going to add that 9 back up, and guess what we get? Well, we still get our same answer of 55. That's not going to change. Now, this one is a little bit different. We're going to use compensation here. What this does is this looks at both of these addends, and we're going to look and say, which one of these is closest to the next 10? Because if I can get one of these to a 10, then I don't need to regroup. And this one is very close at 29. All we need is one more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one away from that 26. And that's going to leave me with 25. But I can't just take that one away without doing something with it. So I'm actually just going to move it over here, but I'm going to add it over here. So my 29 now becomes a 30. And take a look at this, 25 and 30. That is so easy to add. There's no regrouping. And you know the answer is still going to be correct, 55. But compensation lets you take a sum away from one addend, add it to the other addend to get it to a 10. And that's also a great way to add. So those are all the ways that I can think of to add 26 plus 29 using mental math. If you can think of another way, that's fantastic. Go ahead and add it as a comment on the video. Teachers, if you would like a copy of the slide deck for your own use in the classroom, you can find it on my website, 5minutemath.net.